Find the surface that you're perched on. So whatever you've chosen, if you're lying on your mat or sitting on a chair, find where your body meets the object you're upon. Close your eyes or have them half closed. And let's take a couple of breaths just to feel where our bodies are in the surroundings. And maybe you take stock here for a few moments. What are you experiencing in your body? What's being made known to you? And are you aware of any emotions that are present today as you start your practice? Knowing you don't have to do anything about anything. Your whole job is just to notice what's there, those subtle things. Talked about subtle awarenesses as the piece that I read just before we got started today. And check in with your mind. Is it feeling busy or quiet or something else entirely? And whether you're lying or sitting, purposefully now lengthen your spine. Bring your shoulder blades low down your body. Lengthen the back of your neck. And tuck your chin in a little bit closer to your chest. You have a sense of your posture. You're lengthening. You're becoming a little bit more expansive with these subtle shifts in your posture. And then I invite you, as you breathe in and out, to just say to yourself silently, I know I am breathing in. I know I am breathing out. Two more breaths like that. Excellent. And we'll open the eyes. Place one hand, if you're lying or sitting, place one hand on your belly, the other hand on your chest. And again, just take a couple of more breaths so that you're really arriving in this present moment. If your eyes are open now, you might just allow them to be a bit blurry. So you're taking in your surroundings through your eyes, you're noticing where you are. but you're not focused on any one thing in particular. You're just allowing that little blurry gaze or soft focus in your eyes, just aware of where you are right here, right now. And if it feels right to you, just bring in a spirit of welcoming your own self to your own practice. Is there anything you can do or any sense that you can allow yourself to experience that feels welcoming to your own yoga practice? Let's take one more breath. Lovely. You can bring your hands down and then take a moment just to make a little room. So look at your space. If you need a sip of water, of course, grab it, but then move the water bottle out of the way, move anything so that we can lay down and have enough room to be able to move our legs side to side. You're not going to hit into anything. And again, we're being intentional about these things. We're getting our space ready so that our practice can unfold the way we're hoping. And then once you've got some room, and if you're feeling okay to lay down today, then bring yourself to lying down on your mat, on your back. And we'll go through this series of poses that you all know really, really well. I find that they're helpful for my back. You might find something different though. So we've done them enough. Hopefully you know which of these really work well for you and which ones you need to modify so that they work better for you. So I've got the feet hip width apart, the knees are up, also hip width apart. And now I'm crossing the ankle of one leg onto the thigh of the other. And we're going to take a bit of time to be subtle. So the first thing to do is flex that foot. So of the leg you just crossed, see if you can flex the foot. So it's the opposite of pointing the toes. Does that change anything? Do you feel anything different as you do that? Then take your hand and press on your bent knee. And just give it a little press and release, press and release. I start to feel that in a little bit in my hip. And so it's just, again, waking up the body, starting to become aware of what we're feeling as we do these movements. And then we're going to take our arms now into cactus position for a little waking up of the arms and shoulders. So I've got my elbow coming straight out from shoulder on out along the floor. I've got my hand at a right angle. So bent at the elbow so that my hands kind of look like a cactus. Noticing the shoulders, bringing them low onto the ground. Noticing if it's possible for the hands to touch the ground, or maybe not. Maybe for you, the arms aren't quite ready to make it all the way down, and then that's okay. Now we're getting ready to give a little core contraction so that we can lift the foot off the ground and bring the knees and the hips towards it. We're trying to get that beautiful stretch into the side of the hip, a little bit into the glute. And let's take 3 slow breaths. Just notice what you feel and where you feel it.
And before we change sides, I invite you just to take a tiniest movement, a micro movement towards the left, tiny little rock towards the left, and then a tiny little rock towards the right. So again, just those subtle shifts in movement can sometimes discover a deeper part of the muscle that gets opened, expanded with that tiny extra bit of movement. Then bring the legs down and do the other side. The arms can stay as they are for a moment. We're crossing the other ankle onto thigh and then flexing that foot and taking a moment to notice how that side feels. And then using the hands, we're going to press that knee, push it away, and then release. Push the knee away, release. Notice anything new on this side. What are you feeling and where? And then return the hand to cactus. Take the foot that's still on the floor and lift it off. And let's hold here for 3 breaths. And then that tiny little rock now towards the right. What do you feel now? And a tiny rock towards the left. Excellent. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Open your arms long from shoulders on out along the floor. And flop both your knees over to one side, landing with a thud onto the floor beside you. Totally fine to adjust the position of the knees. So if this feels too intense, you can bring your knees further away from the body, further away from your chest, and get a slightly different variation of the stretch. If you want more intensity, you might be able to bring those knees closer. We're trying to get the feet to rest right down on the floor. And let's hold here for 3 releasing breaths. Contract your core, bring the knees to center, and flop them over the other way with a bud. Find where on that side of the body the knees are happiest being for you today. And another 3 breaths. Contract your core, bring the knees back to center. Excellent. While my knees are up, I'm able to reach my socks. I'm going to take my socks off so I've got a little bit of grip for bridge. Maybe you'll do that as well. And then placing the feet back down, hip width apart, knees also hip width. Now let's get a little core contraction. Before we do the bridge at all, I invite you to squeeze internally. So find that internal Kegel muscle, the pelvic floor. See if you can get a little awareness here. A little squeeze and release. It certainly is subtle. You're the only one that knows if you're doing it. And then see if you can squeeze and hold a little bit of that Kegel strength. Those low abdominals are squeezing and engaging. At the same time, as you spread your toes and press your big toes into the mat, and with the core strong, the toes pressed, we now lift the tailbone up, and one vertebra at a time comes off the mat. Now we'll talk a bit about low back today because for those of us that have sensitive low backs, we know that gardening is one of those things that can really get the low back fired up. And so if you have sensitivity there, it can be problematic. When we're doing bridge pose, here's the two choices you have. So right now you're holding fully up in bridge. Let's try both of these. So you have all done the bridge where we come down one vertebra at a time. Let's do that together, slowly, with control. We're bringing ourselves down one vertebra at a time. The good thing about that is you're starting to get a little bit of awareness of articulating the spine in all parts of the spine. You're sort of waking up and thinking about them as you go up and down in bridge. However, if you are someone that has a back that doesn't like to bend, some of us need to be more protective and do less bending in our low back. And so the other option for bridge is just simply to squeeze the core and now go straight up without the one vertebra at a time part. And then we're ready, straight down. Both of those are bridge and they're just focused on different areas. So if your back feels too sensitive, articulating one vertebra at a time, then do the straight up version instead. Let's hold the bridge now. And I'll invite you into the variation where we drop one hip 1 inch. And then use those strong low back muscles to bring the hip back to full height. Drop the other hip 1 inch, bring it back to full height, go back and forth that way. Still keeping the knees hip width apart. Still pressing the big toes into the mat. Good, that's plenty. And so you decide now, you can come down slowly, one vertebra at a time, or if the back doesn't want to bend today, you're just taking it straight down. And then do anything that feels good. I like to stretch way out, feet one way, hands the other. You might have your knees into the chest and rock. That also feels good here. Follow your body's lead. And bring the knees back up. And this time, let's straighten one leg towards the ceiling. Take your fingers and interlace around the hamstring. 2 movements at the same time. You're going to flex your foot towards the sky and simultaneously pull the leg towards you. So those 2 movements are in opposition. The flexed foot pressing skyward, your fingers pulling the leg closer to your nose, closer to forward. Just feel those opposing tensions that create that nice long stretch through the back of the leg into the hamstring. And hold 3 breaths. And before we go from here, let's do a little pointing and flexing. Noticing how that changes what you feel in your leg. And some circles with the foot. Good ankle circles here. Circling one way and then changing directions. Good. Bring that in. Take the other leg up. Flex foot towards the sky. Interlace fingers around the hamstring. Flex foot pushes up. Fingers pull in. Hold for 3 breaths. Let's try pointing and flexing now. Back foot. Notice if it feels the same or different from the other side. And circling the foot. One direction. And the other. Excellent. Hug your knees into your chest and just rock side to side. And notice how your back feels just at this moment in our practice. That'll be important so you can make decisions about what to do or not do as we go through the rest of the poses. Let's turn onto our stomachs. And taking a moment to just be here, allow your body to be held by the ground. Let go of what you're carrying, release it to your mat. Even just laying still, when I first turn onto my belly, I can feel subtle shifts happening in my low back as my body kind of gives way and gets used to being here. So take the time to do that. Just lay here for a few more moments and notice, are there any parts of your body that you're aware of? And what are you noticing? And then we'll take the weight of the head onto the chin. We'll take the hands and place them underneath the shoulders. And we'll allow the back to do nothing. So core goes on vacation. Back goes on vacation. Hands and arms are going to do all the work. So let's spread the fingers. Start to use the hands to push the chin off the ground, the chest off the ground. We're not going very high because if you go too high, your back starts to get involved and get grippy. So just a little lift and then a little lower. We'll do that 6 times in a row using the arms only. Remember to breathe. By extending through our spine, we're trying to make a little bit more room between our vertebrae, get more expansive, but without the back having to do the work. And sometimes that can offer a little relief to sore low backs. After 6 times, we're going to touch the chin down, touch the forehead down, and rest your arms by your sides. Rest on each cheek. Good. And push yourself to hands and knees.
So we're gonna go into cat cow. You know cat cow, and if you're being cautious with your back today, then please do a very, very gentle cat cow. Have your fingers spread and take a moment to decide like which part of your back wants to have more expansion and which needs to be more protected. So for example, if it's your low back that's giving you trouble and you think you don't want to move it too much, you're being protective of it, then you will focus on the shoulders and the roundedness you can get in the shoulders instead. So really bring the chin towards the chest. You'll focus on keeping the low back a little more still, but getting this more range of motion through the shoulders and then into the chest when you're doing the opening. If it's your low back that feels good when it rounds, maybe for some of you, that's a healing, good supportive kind of pose, then you might feel more like you're going to focus on rounding more through the low back. So each of us has a different back. Figure out what's going to work for you. We'll do two more and we're synchronizing the breath with the movement. Then come to having a flat back, still hands and knees. And we're going to use our good core strength to grip through your low abdominals, your Kegel internally. Lift one hand to hover off the mat. Hover the opposite knee off the mat as well, and just hold here. See how stable and still you're able to be. You can breathe. And if you're feeling quite stable, see how it is to start to lengthen the limbs. Hand lengthens forward, leg lengthens back behind you. Able to breathe. And then really slowly bring those limbs back in. Good, and then we'll do the other side. So again, first thing to do always is engage your core. And it's the other hand that hovers, opposite knee that hovers. And as you're ready, extend. If you're feeling pretty wobbly today, not as stable, then just stay with the hover. Make that part really strong first. Slowly, slowly back in. And let's go back and forth that way. So you always start by contracting the core, then the hover, and then the decision about whether to stay hovering or extend limbs. Just go at your own pace. So just a note that this is a really good one. One of the best for low back injury prevention. However, if your back is compromised, it might not be the right time to do the strengthening part, right? So this is a strengthening pose. It works as long as the back isn't currently inflamed or really struggling. If that was the case for you, then you wouldn't do as many of these. You would wait to heal the back first. And once healed, then it's all this strengthening will really make a difference to keep and maintain what you have. I'm doing the last one on this other side for you, depending on how long you're holding them. Just make sure that you've done both sides the same number of times.
And once you have, pull your hips back toward your heels and lengthen your arms way in front of you on the mat. Walk your fingers forward. Settle your head down as low as it will comfortably go. And 3 releasing breaths. And round yourself back up. Excellent. I'm going to do a couple of neck opening stretches, and you can do those from any position. You could do them kneeling, you could do them sitting, you could do them standing, and we're heading to standing next. So if you want to get there first, go ahead and stand now, and we'll do the neck poses there. Lengthen your spine, whatever position you've chosen. Arms are beside you, and let's just lift one ear. And take our 2 big breaths, finding any release for the side of the neck. When you're ready, take the head to the other side. And another 2 big breaths. And let's do both sides again. A little more goodness from it. And over to the other side. And breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Return your head to center. Take one arm across your body, holding up the elbow with the bottom arm. Give it a pull. Drop your shoulders down. And now turn your head to look past the shoulder that's getting the stretch for 2 breaths. Return the head to center. Let go of the arms and take the other one up. Pull the elbow, drop the shoulders, turn the head the other way. 2 breaths. Head to center, arms beside you again, and drop the chin towards the chest now for 3 breaths.
Walk your eyes across the floor, slowly up the wall, and across the ceiling. Open your mouth, open your jaw, and breathe through that open mouth. Walk the eyes back until once again the chin is on or close to the chest. 2 more breaths. And float the head forward. Good, and we'll change to standing if you're not already there. Get there any way you like. Maybe grab a sip of water along the way. We'll go into some balancing poses now. The balance pose that we'll choose to start with is a little bit of a hip opener, or can be. So knowing that if we're focused on yoga for gardening, there's certainly a lot that happens with the legs and consequently into the hips, into the low back. So that's why we're doing stretches for those parts of the body today. I invite you to cross one leg over the other and see if you can find good equalized balance through the feet. So we sometimes say the 4 corners of each foot. See if you can find those. So you've got the feet really supportive for balance. I invite you to take your right hand and tuck it behind you into an imaginary back pocket on the left side. Then find an eye focus with your eyes, lock onto it, and tip yourself towards the left. 3 breaths as we hold here. Just notice what you feel, where you feel it. And bring yourself back up and come back to center. So you're also noticing how balanced you feel today. Let's do the other side by crossing the other leg over. Sorry, I should have said which leg to cross. So I now have my left leg in front, my right leg in back, but it's okay either way. As long as you're getting a stretch, it's all good. I'm taking my left hand and tucking it behind me into an imaginary back pocket on the right side. Locking my eyes for an eye focus and tipping towards the right. 3 breaths. Come back up. Excellent. We'll go into the Lord of the Dance balance now because it's a wonderful stretch for the legs. Find yourself an eye focus. Ground one foot. And lift the other leg up. And let's hold for 3 breaths. If your balance feels a little unsteady today, just be close to the wall or close to a piece of furniture that you can grab onto. If possible, and it's your choice, of course, see if you can grab your ankle or your foot
And bring both your knees together to touch each other. And make sure that both knees are bent. So that standing leg is an unlocked knee, slightly bent knee. And 3 breaths here. Pulling the heel towards the bum. Then straightening the support leg, pulling the heel away from the bum now. Taking the hand that is doing nothing yet and reaching skyward so that that hand pulls you up while the foot pulls you down for 3 breaths. Reach for what you're looking at. And if you're good for a little bit more, lift the back knee. Come on back to center. Let that side go to a good shape. Good. Now, those shapes do cause a little bit of back bending. And so check in. Is your back okay having done that side? Do you want to do the other side? Or maybe you're modifying. Maybe you're just doing the first 2 poses of the Lord of the Dance instead of all 4. So make your shifts based on your body today. Ground your other foot. Lift your other leg. 3 breaths. If you're choosing the second pose, you're grabbing ankle or foot, knees together and bent, pulling heel close to bum, and 3 breaths. Straighten your support leg, pull your heel away from the bum, take the free hand skyward, 3 breaths. Reach for what you're looking at. Start to lift the back knee. And bring it all back in. Let it go. Grab a sip of water. Last week we did a chair pose. And some of you use the wall, so having the wall close by so that you could perch and lean a little bit against the wall for support. So we're going to do that again, and we're going to offer up the twisting option. Again, if the back is not what we want it to be today, then you might just do the straight option of this. You might not do the twist. So consider that for your back. Find your hip width apart legs. Let's breathe in and lift the arms up first so that you get tall. And now bring hands together. Sit into chair pose, bringing hands to heart. So maybe your bum is leaned up against the wall. Or maybe you're feeling
you've got the strength today, and you're gonna do it without any wall prop. We're gonna check that the knees are still hip width apart. And then if it feels okay for twisting today, we're gonna very slowly, gently twist to one side. Maybe the elbow will land on the outside of the knee. And 3 breaths, wherever you've chosen to be for your body. Come on back to center, stand up. Good. You know that all of the gardening that we do usually means we're bending and straightening, bending and straightening. So this is a great one to strengthen all of those muscles around the knees. Breathe in and lift arms up. Breathe out, sitting into chair, bringing hands together at your heart. Hold as you find this pose, see how it feels. And then you're making a decision about twisting the other direction. For those who wish to, gently, slowly twist there now, elbow onto outside of knee, 3 breaths. Swivel back to center and stand. Good. Give a good shake. I'm just getting my clock open so that I can see what time we're at. That's great. Still have time. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I learned from my chiropractor recently. Dr. Tyler Hunsberger talks about the low back like this. He says, if you picture a toddler, toddlers move the way our bodies are intended to move. They haven't yet learned bad patterns. And so if you picture a toddler moving into trying to pick something up, they kind of squat really automatically. They don't bend over to pick something up. They automatically bend at the knees and keep their backs fairly straight, fairly flat through the low back. Over time, we do so much hinging, forward and backward, forward releasing and then back bending, that he says though our backs are intended to do that and yoga helps to keep all of those movements supple, for some of us, it's just too much. That hinging back and forth, just like any hinge, wears out over time. And so for some of you with back issues, you might think about, can you keep the low part, especially if it's a low part of your back that's problematic, can you keep your low back more flat more of the time, do less hinging and back bending? Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind as we go through a squatting pose now. You knew it was coming, it's gardening. So your feet are now going to be just a little bit wider than hip width, and turn your feet out so that the toes are more open, more spread than the heels. Toes a little wider. Just as if we were gardening, right? We're going to now bend at the knees. You're having to plant a seed. Now for me, I can't keep my feet flat on the ground. So when I go into a squat, I need to bring my heels up off the floor. So take a moment to just figure that out for yourself. What's the width that you need between your feet to get into a squat? Do you have your heels come off the ground as well? And then stand back up. We're going to do this 3 more times. But I know it's a lot of work. And not everybody can go all the way down and then all the way back up. So totally fine to do this like a squat in the gym, where you're just coming part way and then standing back up. So you choose how low to go. Bring your hands together at your heart. Start to get into your squat. You decide if you're pausing at any point or going all the way down. Planting your seed. You're going to plant peas. It's that time of year. And then using the strength to come all the way back up. Let's add breath to it. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, slowly squat. Pause and breathe in, holding where you are. And use strength to breathe out as you stand back up. Excellent. Breathe in. Start to squat, breathing out. As low as you want to take it. Pause to breathe in. Stand, breathing out. We're gonna do one more for those who wish to. If you are done, that's okay. You can be done. Breathe in. Breathe out into squat. Breathe in. Breathe out into standing. Excellent work. Interlace your fingers behind you. Pull your elbows straight. Pull your wrists apart from each other. Take a nice wide stance. So I want to illustrate that thing I was talking about, that learning that I had from my chiropractor. You have two choices right now. We're going to do a wide-legged forward release. And you can do that by hinging all the way forward. I'll show you in a moment. With your head, just like we would in forward release, your head kind of as low as it'll go. Or you can do a half version. If you're wanting to keep your low back from bending too much, you can keep the low back flat, go halfway, and work more on pulling those straight arms away from the body. Okay, so you're choosing either you're keeping the back flat, or if your back feels well today, you're going all the way into a wide-legged forward release, letting the head dangle forward, straightening the elbows, bringing the elbows a little bit away from the body, noticing what you feel, where you feel it as you breathe. Then contracting the core, and bringing yourself back up. Releasing those arms. Nice. Good. Come to hip width apart. We'll release that with the gentle fist, flat part of the fist into the low back, elbows toward each other. We're not bending the back at all in this pose. We are moving the neck, looking up, opening the jaw, and breathing. Walk the eyes back. Shake out the arms. Excellent work. Come to sitting. Flat onto the mat with one heel tucked in towards your groin and the other leg outstretched. Good. Find both your sitting bones. So take a moment. Sitting is not always comfortable. Notice what's happening in your legs, your hips. And let's turn our bodies now so that we're facing the outstretched leg. And again, using that same teaching of trying to keep the low back flat, we're not rounding it at all. We're hinging forward, bringing our bellies a little closer to the thigh with no roundedness in the back, just keeping it straight, keeping it flat. It means without the roundedness, we won't be able to go as far, right? It won't be as showy a pose. We're not bringing our head to our knee on this one. We're hinging, belly a little bit closer to thigh. And now settling in for a full minute. Holding here. Breathing and releasing. hoping to get into some of those muscles at the back of the leg. I can actually feel this a little bit in my glute. We'll do 2 more breaths here. And then come on back to center. We're not quite done with this leg. Do a little bit more. So now, finding your side body, your ribs, we're going to see if we can bring the ribs that are closest to the outstretched leg a little closer to them. So you've got the same hand as your outstretched leg. For me, it's my left. So my left hand is reaching down my left leg. I'm aware of the left side of the ribs. I'm going to take the right hand up to the sky. So I get stretching on both sides of the ribs, side body. And then I'm lengthening that arm overhead. And again, being aware that the top side of the body gets a stretch across the ribs. So does the underside. Really lengthening that underside, for me, the left side of the ribs, long along my left leg. Hold and breathe. Maybe as you release, you're able to go a little further. Reach a little more. And bring it back up. Excellent. Bend the knee of the outstretched leg so that you're in a mermaid sit. The heel is kind of behind you. We haven't done anything different with the leg that was already bent. Plant your fists behind you on the mat and taking the weight of your upper body into your fists and hands. Now lift your hips off the ground for a little counter stretch there. Couple of breaths. Bring that down and change sides now. It's the other leg that gets to stretch out. So for me, it's my right leg now. Turning my body to face the outstretched leg. Sitting nice and tall, keeping the back flat. And with that straight spine, I'm just hinging forward, belly coming a little closer to thigh. So it's not going to look like you've traveled very far. It's a small movement. Let's hold for a minute. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Two more breaths. Then bring yourself back to sitting tall. Take the same arm as your outstretched leg and stretch it a little more, aware of the rib cage now on both sides. So I've got my right arm stretching towards my right leg. I'm bringing my other hand, my left hand up. So I get long through the side body. And then reaching over. So the underside of the ribs is coming a little closer to the outstretched leg. And breathe. What are you noticing? Does it feel the same or different as the first side? And as you release, are you able to go a little further? One more big breath here. And come on up. Bend the knee of that outstretched leg so that the heel ends up behind you. Take your fists, plant them on the mat behind your hips, and take the weight into those fists as you lift your hips off the ground for 3 breaths. And bring it back down. Beautiful. One more pose, and then we're headed to Shavasana. This pose is optional. So if you're trying to keep your back straight, then this pose is not for you. And I invite you just do anything that feels supportive for your low back. If you're okay with a bit of rounding of your spine, we're simply going to bring the knees bent, the feet almost connected. So heels touching, maybe the balls of the feet touching each other. Knees are open to each side. And then from here, we're just rounding down. So maybe fingers grabbing around the toes, chin tucks in towards the chest. You're allowing your spine to be rounded, if that's okay for you. Breathing and just settling in, inviting a release. Let your body lead how far to go into it. So you're not forcing this pose. You're just putting the body into a shape and seeing what happens gently. And one more breath. And then use your hands to walk slowly towards the body as you slowly lengthen your spine. Stretch your legs, give them a shake. Good. And you can make a decision here about whether you'd like to be in a seated meditation pose or fully lying down, ready for Shavasana. We're going to do a loving kindness meditation for our meditation Shavasana today. Grab a sip of water. And just as you're settling in there, I want to acknowledge that today's sequence was inspired by Scott Blossom, again, from one of my old Yoga Journal magazines. Please get comfortable. Ensure that you're warm. And I invite you to arrive at your Shavasana. Make any subtle changes to your body's positioning so that you can be as comfortable as possible. And then just like earlier today, as we started practicing, I invite you to put attention on your breathing and say silently to yourself, I know I am breathing in. I know I am breathing out. There are many versions of the loving kindness meditation, but there's one that we've come back to many times. I'm going to say the line out loud, and then I'll leave space for you to repeat it to yourself. And you're all muted, so you can repeat it out loud if you wish, or you can repeat it silently. So I invite you to call yourself to mind. May I be filled with loving kindness. Repeat that. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Next, I invite you to call someone else to mind. Any other one person. Bring them into your awareness and repeat after me. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. Next, I invite you to call a group of people to mind. So yourself and at least one other person, maybe more. Repeat after me. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. And finally, I invite you to expand the number of people in the group in your mind's eye. Expand it to include as many people as you wish, including all of the folks practicing yoga together online right now as part of this class. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. And just hold that silently for another minute. And now I invite you to take 3 deeper breaths. Maybe sigh those breaths out. Start to move your body any way that feels good. If you'd like to close the class with me, those who are laying down, turn onto your sides. And slowly, as you're ready, come on back to sitting. We're lengthening our spines, feeling the earth below us, lengthening the back of the neck, keeping lots of ease in your shoulders. Take a thumb into the other hand. Inhale as you raise your arms up. 2 breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Hands together. 2 breaths. Hands up and either behind the neck or in front of the neck. Full extension, breathing in. Slow hands to heart, breathing out. And the final breath at the heart. Namaste.